Hi everyone and welcome back to Rachel's Enchanting Cakes. Now for today's tutorial I am using the sugar sheet cake trend of 2020, but I'm going to be showing you how to make these absolutely adorable 2D unicorns. Now I have used this as a cupcake topper, so it is a perfect size for your unicorn themed cupcakes, but if you wanted to you could also use these as cake toppers or even around the outside of a cake. As always, everything is explained in great detail. This footage really does not do this justice as it is so sparkly. It's absolutely beautiful. I will guide you through everything step by step. I do hope I help you again today, and I'll be back soon with an awful lot more new, completely free content. Here I am using the Karen Davis Unicorn Cookie Mold 2020. In the mold you get various different shapes. It's a silicone mold that can not only be used for fondant or in our case sugar sheets, but also to make your own homemade cookies. For this tutorial we will just be using the unicorn. We now need to fill in this mould with different coloured fondants. Now these moulds are very easy to use. So for the eyes I use white. For the horn, the wings and the base of the unicorn's legs I use yellow. This just makes them easier to paint, which we'll be doing later on to get that beautiful golden colour. Take your time. I used a Dresden tool just to help me apply each colour. Look at how the mould is shaped. If you're new to these moulds, maybe fill the mould with just white fondant first. Release it from the mould and then you can see where all the different indentations are and then you'll know where to place the fondant. I choose for my unicorn's hair and tail to use pink, blue and purple because they all work beautifully together. Take your time doing this because this is a very important part of the actual unicorn. Just leave this in the mould and now we want to make our sugar sheets. Measure out 90 grams of caster sugar and place this inside a sealable, food-safe bag. Add an edible food colour of your choice. Simply place this directly onto the sugar, seal up the bag and then use your fingers and actually rub the food colouring in. This can take a while sometimes depending on the sort of colour you're wanting to achieve, but this is such an easy method just to make your own coloured sugar which you can use for so many other different things, not just sugar sheets. Just continually rub until you get the desired colour that you want. Once coloured, place this directly into a bowl and now you want to add 1 level tablespoon of liquid glucose. You will find liquid glucose an awful lot easier to use if you place it in some hot water just like I did here, as the liquid glucose will go more runny due to the heat. Once you have added this directly to your coloured sugar, I start by mixing it with a spoon, but then just get your hands in there until it's all well incorporated. A good way to store your leftover sugar sheets is directly in that food-safe sealed bag where the air cannot get to it. So simply place this in the bag afterwards and we can start making those beautiful unicorns. Taking that sugar sheet mixture that you have just made, you want to now push this directly into your unicorn mould. Push it down so it's really down there and it's going to pick up all those beautiful details. But do be careful not to move too much of that fondant that you've already got in there. So completely push this into the mould first. Then if you just take a piece of baking paper, place this directly over the top and push your rolling pin backwards and forwards. Very gently. This will make sure everything is pushed down inside that mould beautifully because these sugar sheets are quite sticky. I then just take a knife and just cut off a small amount of the excess that goes on the outside of the mould. You then want to place this in an oven at 50 degrees centigrade for 10 minutes just to allow that sugar sheet to set. Now, when your unicorn has come out of the oven, you need to leave it to completely cool to a point where that fondant is going to start to go a little hot. So you do need to leave it for a while. And then very gently pull away the silicone mould. I did this on some baking paper because the sugar sheets can start to go soft again, and we do need to add we need to add a little bit of gold to it, and we need to do a little bit more work with this first. So just to prevent it sticking to your surface, place it on a piece of baking paper. The first thing I want to finish is the eyes. The eyes always bug me. So I have blue, black and white. My eye colour for the unicorn is going to be blue. So for this you just need very, very, very tiny balls of fondant. Roll these on the palm of your hand and place them directly on there. Then you need the pupil. So for this you want some black fondant, but again it needs to be even smaller than the blue. The most fiddly one is the white. You will add more definition and more character to your unicorn if you add a very, very small white dot of fondant directly onto the pupil. And you'll notice I'm also having them facing a certain way rather than being bang in the centre. So if you copy this, this will complete the eyes. The next step is to paint the horn, the wings and the base of our unicorn. You can use any edible paints you want. I start by painting the mouth using a Rainbow Dust 100% edible dark gold metallic paint. There will be a small indentation in that sugar sheet from the mould in order for you to follow it. Everything you see in the yellow fondant I then simply paint with a Regency Gold by Faye Carl. This luster dust is absolutely beautiful, and I've just mixed it with a small amount of alcohol in order to make a lovely pliable paint. In order to support the unicorn as a cupcake topper, we now need to add some modelling paste to the back. Modelling paste, if left long enough, will set lovely and hard. It will support your sugar sheet and it can be placed directly onto a cupcake topper. Simply roll out a colour of your choice. Apply some edible glue directly to the modelling paste. Pick up your unicorn and place this on top. Be very gentle with it as it is still fragile. And then cut off the excess with a sharp knife. Cut out the topper for your cupcake. You want the fondant to be lovely and soft. Remember, if you leave fondant for long enough, this will also set relatively hard. And whilst the modelling paste is still soft, gently apply your unicorn. Now you'll notice here I've placed it at a slight angle. I'm just adjusting it because if you place this in an oven with the oven light on, it will allow that modelling paste to go lovely and hard. Now just add a few clouds, a few sprinkles, and there you have it, a beautiful, simple, stunning but striking unicorn cake topper. Happy baking, guys, and I'll be back soon with an awful lot more new, completely free content.